Let's talk about Function.prototype.bind. This method creates a new function with the given context and the given arguments, such that when this new function will be called later, it will use the provided context and arguments. This method can be used in many different ways. One of the ways is to implement command pattern, which I'm going to show you today. But first, let's take a look at what Function.prototype.bind does and how it works. Here I have a messenger that sends a message to some messaging service like Skype or Telegram. And I have a send method that accepts the messenger and sends the message to some person and what I'm going to say. It invokes the messenger send method and formats the message. Now I have two messengers like Skype and Telegram. Let's say I want to message something to John, both through the Skype and Telegram. So I'm calling the send method, passing in a Skype as a messenger, the John as a name, and hello as a message. And let's say I'm doing the same but through Telegram. If I run this, I will see that I've sent two messages through Skype and Telegram, both hello John. So let's say I'm going to start a chatting session on Skype with John, and I don't want to provide these arguments every time. So what I can do is I can use bind to predefine these arguments and create a function that will be sending the messages to John through the Skype. So send, let's say Skype to John. To create this function I will use bind. But first I'm going to change the send method to invoke a send function on the current context. So I will say send bind. As this argument I will pass a Skype messenger, so its current context will be Skype. Now I'm going to pass John as a name, and notice that I'm not passing the what argument. So this function now will accept only one argument, only the message I'm trying to send. So if I call this function and pass hello, and then I call this function and pass bye, if I run this, you can see that it sends the messages through Skype to John, different messages. So this function only accepts one argument. This is how bind method works. Now to the real-world example. Let's say I'm working on the graphical editor. Here it is, by the way. It can add the new shape to the canvas. I can select the shape. I can change the color of the shape, or I can delete the selected shape. And let's say I'm about to implement the undo feature. Here's the source codes for the graphical editor. Here's the commands that are executed when I click the buttons. The new shape command is creating a new random shape and adds the shape to the canvas. The change color command sets the color on the currently selected shape to the random color. The delete shape just removes the selected shape from the canvas. And here's my undo command that is currently not implemented. So how do I implement it? First, I'm going to have a list of the undo operations. And I will be adding the functions to this list, such that when I click the undo button, those functions will be fetched from the list one by one and executed. So let me write the undo function. The undo operations, I'll take the command from the undo operations, and if this command is defined, which means that the undo operations list is not empty, I will execute it. So for the new shape, Here I have a list of routines I can use to implement these commands. So for the new shape, the reverse action will be removing this shape from the canvas. So to do the undo operations, I will add a function that will remove the currently created shape from the canvas. And I can create this function by binding the shape as an argument to remove from canvas function. Remove from canvas.bind. I will pass a null as the context because remove from canvas function is not used in context at all. And as an argument, I will pass a newly created shape. Let's see if this works. So let me create a couple of new shapes and then click undo. You can see that shapes deleted in the order I have created them. Now let's implement the change color. So the change color should just set color of the shape back to what it was. So I have to remember the old color. For this I have the getColor function. So I call in the getColor of selected shape, and then I add to undo operations a function based on the setColor function. So I call setColor bind, and again I'm passing null as the context, and I'm passing a selected shape, and I'm passing the alt color. So when this function will be executed, it will take the shape and set its color to the alt color. Let's see if this works. So let me create a couple of shapes and now change their color. And this. And if I call the undo, you can see that shapes are changing their colors back. If I click undo further, the shapes will be removed. So now I have to implement the same thing for the delete shape. And for the delete shape, I have only to remember the shape that I'm deleting. And to the undo operations, I will add the add to canvas function with the selected shape. So undo operations, push, and add to canvas, bind, again null as the context, and the selected shape. So let's see if this works. So I'm creating, let me refresh first, I'm creating the new shapes, and then I'm deleting the shape. And when I click undo, it returns the shapes back. If I click undo further, it will delete the shapes. So here is how I use the bind to implement the undo operations. So that's it. Now you can add the bind method to your toolset and use it in your daily work. I think you will find a lot of more interesting ways to use it. Here's the link, by the way, to the REPL that I've created, where you can find the graphical editor that you have seen in this video, and you can go ahead and play with it. And of course, if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe not to miss the next exciting videos, and see you later. Bye!